Question: Who's ready for Debbie's answers? Back in 30. Hey, Debbie.
Hi, Jan. How are you?
So good to see you, Debbie. Thank you so much for coming in. In case you guys don't know, this is Debbie from the How Debbie Saves channel. And
Hi.
Debbie is actually a money coach. And we've gotten into it. Debbie, just quick question before we get into it. Do you still have that 30-minute free call thingy going on? Because I'll
Absolutely.
indicate that in the description box later on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect.
I appreciate it.
Perfect. But for tonight, the moment many of you have been waiting for, Debbie is so kind to answer 10, count this in your head, 10 questions that you guys popped in. I'm not going to waste another minute. I'm going to get right to it, even without my glasses. I thought I had my glasses with me, just in case they need them. Okay. All right, Debbie. So question number one, Rosie Bunny would like to know how long you've actually been a money coach, Deb.
Oh, hi, Rosie. I had to think about it. I'm like, I've been doing this since May. I can't believe it. It's been 8 months already.
Wow. I can't believe it's been 8 months either. The time is
Crazy.
just flying. 8 months
Absolutely.
already. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll go on to the next question.
Yeah.
Okay. Robin wants to know, what is the best way to pay off credit card debt?
That's a great question. So there's two really two ways that people really know about how to pay off debt. So it depends on the type of person that you are. That's why I believe it's so important to really like know your relationship with money, like how you think of money, in order to figure out like how you're going to pay off debt. So the two big ways is, one is called the debt snowball and the other one is the debt avalanche. So with the debt snowball, the three pieces of information that you need to know is the credit card amount that you owe, the total, and the percentage of interest that you pay on the card. So with the debt snowball, what you do is you list them from the one that you have the least amount owed to the one that you have the most amount owed, and you don't think about the interest with this one. So what you do is you pay the minimum payments on all the other balances except for the one on the top. The one on the top, you're going to throw everything that you can at it. Every single cent that you have extra every month, you throw at the one on the top. Because since it's got the smallest balance, the rest of them, you're going to start seeing that you're going to pay off that first one. And as soon as you pay that off, the next one, you're going to do the exact same thing too, and the next one. And it becomes an avalanche. The more money that you pay at the smallest amount, you start knocking them out and you get motivated. And that's the key thing to using this method is by you being motivated, especially if you've never paid off debt before, it'll really start empowering you to keep going and going until finally you pay off that last debt and you're credit card debt free. The avalanche is completely the opposite. I think of the avalanche as like an opposite of a snow cone, like a snow cone upside down. So with the avalanche, you're not looking at how much you owe, you're looking at the interest rate. So what you do is you pay off the highest interest rate first, and on the rest of the cards, you're paying the minimum payment. With the avalanche, it might take you longer because it's not as motivating, because typically when you have a credit card that has the highest percentage of interest that you're paying on it, typically that's the one you owe the most money on. So by throwing everything you can at the one that you owe the most interest on, it'll take you longer to knock them out. But the advantage of that one is that you actually save money, because since you're paying off the highest interest first, you're actually saving money in the long run, but it's not as motivating. So it depends on how you feel about money. If you want to see them being knocked out, the debt snowball is the way to go. But if you rather save money, then it's the debt avalanche.
Wow, that's amazing.
Sorry for the long answer. I just want
to. No. Thank you. Thank you
can.
so much for that. That's amazing. My attitude would be like with the second one that, wow, I'm clearing the decks that much, faster, getting rid of the junk, so to speak.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Debbie.
Yeah.
Sarah wants to know if she should cancel every credit card after paying each of them off? Because Sarah's concern is about her credit score.
If your concern is the credit score, that's such a great question. That really is such a great question, because credit scores, some people think that once you pay off a card, you should cancel it. I completely disagree, because no matter how old you are or where you are in life, if you already have a mortgage, your credit score can really affect your life. Like right now, car insurances are starting to look at credit scores. So if you plan on driving and having car insurance alone, never mind anything else, or taking out a loan or anything else, your credit score is so important. It can really save you money throughout your life. So what I suggest is, if you don't want to use the credit card anymore, shred it. Like shred it, get rid of it. If you pay it off in full, get rid of it. Stick it in a drawer. Don't keep it on you, because chances are is that you might get tempted to use it again. But as you pay them off, you don't have to have them in your wallet. If you have a safe, put them in your safe. Like I have a client. She's now my client. She was my old friend from high school, and she took a Dixie cup and she put her credit cards in the Dixie cup, when filled it with water, and put it in the freezer. And she put a little sign on it that says, like, break in case of emergency, and it's in the freezer. I'm like, because your credit score is so important, and the way that credit score is determined is how much credit you are able to use that you don't use, that you have available. So as you pay off your credit cards, your credit score is gonna go up and up and up, and it'll save you money throughout your life.
Wow. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay, Debbie, Teresa wants to know, how many months of expenses should she save up for emergency funds? This is a very important question.
Yes, absolutely.
They're all important, but this is an interesting question.
Your viewers have the best questions. When you send
They
me these
do.
questions, oh my gosh, they're amazing. They're so good. Okay. There are some people that'll tell you, like, if you read a certain author, it'll say 3 to 4 months. If you read someone else, it says like 7 to 8 months. I think, just like with the first question, like, it depends on you. For me, for example, if I were to lose my job, I am able to get a job pretty quickly in my field, making around the same amount that I do, because my 9 to 5, I'm a matrimonial paralegal. But my husband, he's in the computer industry. So for him, it'll take him up to 8 months to replace his job if, God forbid, he lost it. So because of that, we decided to, when we did our budget and we saw our living expenses for an entire month, we decided to save up 8 months of an emergency fund, because worst case scenario, we would be mostly impacted if he lost his job. But when it comes to an emergency fund, there's things to keep in mind. Like, one is how long it'll take you to replace your income if anything happened. The second thing is, if you own your home, I think you should go with the higher range, because when you own a home, if anything goes wrong, it's on you to fix it. If an appliance goes, it's on you. If you rent, you might want to go with the lower amount of months that it'll take you, because you have a landlord. Because if something breaks, someone else's responsibility. It's not your responsibility to fix everything. So because of that, it all depends. It all depends. I would do research to see how long it would take you to replace your income if something were to happen. And that's the amount of months I would save up for.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Debbie.
Yeah.
Supermom 7000 wants to know the proper amount to spend on gifts for special occasions, holidays, because she is feeling overwhelmed. This is a great question.
I think so many people are feeling overwhelmed now. They really are, with the cost of living increase going up, and many people aren't getting increases in pay. Like, there's so many things that, what happened, what's going on in business now. There's so many things that can really put stress on us. As far as gifts, I think it depends on how many people you have in your family that you're going to shop for. Like, I have 3 kids. So I see what I spent last year on gifts for them, and then that's the number that I divide up per paycheck, and I put a little bit of that money into an account. So it depends. Like, I mean, my kids aren't getting married, knock on wood. So, but there's birthdays, there's birthdays and Christmas. So because of that, like, I look at how much I spent last year, and I'm going to make sure to stay under that amount. or up to that amount. So I take it and I break it up, and then I put a little bit into a savings account to cover for that.
Debbie, I have a question for you about this gift thing. Am
Yeah.
I dreaming, or did you not do a video sometime like in the earlier part of the fall about like when you buy gifts too early and you hide them? And
Yes, yeah, for the holidays.
that
Yes.
sounds like an interesting video. If you'd be so kind to send me the link, I'll hook it up in my description box while we're on the subject of gifting. Debbie has so many things. In case you have never been to Debbie's channel, I strongly recommend that you go to the How Debbie Saves channel. Her information is on target. I mean, I'm telling, no, it's thank you. Thank you for, especially these days, we really need people. I'm so proud of our frugal community who has been here before these difficult, challenging times. Now more than ever, every one of us really, we want to help each other.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Debbie. Now for the next question. Carla asked, during an unstable economy, is it safer to keep money in the bank or better off investing in, let's say, metals or stocks, etc.?
That depends on like I wish I had 5 minutes with this person, because I have like questions. I have follow-up questions for this person. So because it's kind of like,
well, she can reach you on
yeah,
a 30-minute call.
Definitely reach out. I'd love to be able to answer more specifically. It's a general question, so I'll give you a general answer.
Yeah.
In the United States, I have to start with this because we have wonderful viewers that are outside the United States. So
True.
I can't give financial advice about banks outside the United States. But in the United States, each person has up to $250,000 that they can deposit into a bank account and have it be safe. Now, it's per bank. Like, for example, let's say I walk into a TD Bank and I have, $300,000, if I wish, to deposit into an account. So what I would do is I wouldn't put and let's say open up 4 accounts, and in the total of my 4 accounts, I have $250,000, right? The FDIC insured, which I have a posted here because I didn't want to forget what it stands for. Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. It's an independent agency that was created by Congress, and it insures your money in a bank. So if I have $250,000 and I have 4 accounts, and with all of them it's $250,000, my money is safe. Again, in the United States, my money is safe. If anything happens to that bank, that money is insured and it's guaranteed to come back to me. In a regular savings or checking account or money, anything that has to do with investing is completely a different thing altogether. But it depends on where you are. Like, if this person that asked this question, let's say that they have a fully funded emergency fund, and let's say that they have a budget buffer, which I truly believe is so important. That's extra money in your checking account. So after you write out the bills, you're not at zero. I don't believe in zero-based budgeting. We need to have something extra in there, because you never know when something's going to happen. Something's going to hit your account and then it goes negative. No. So this person is debt free. If this person has an emergency fund, if they have a budget buffer, if they have everything set, then I believe that what they should do is look to see what investment account is best for them. But do I believe that in the US it's safe to have money in the bank? Absolutely. If I had $300,000 and only $250,000 is safe in one bank, I would go to another bank and put the rest of my money in there.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Debbie.
Yeah.
So Becky B asked the best strategy. Now, this is, again, I bet a lot of people come to you on this. I'm curious. Ask about the best strategy for paying off debt and at the same time building an emergency fund.
I love this question. Okay.
This question is a loaded question. I love it too.
I'm ready. Okay.
All right.
Well, first of all, like, my approach with my clients is so simple. I believe that you can do many things at the same time. There are some experts out there, and I don't want to bash anyone, but there are some experts out there who believe that no, you do one thing and then you do another thing and then you do another thing. I believe you only live once. And I say it on my channel so many times, but I really believe that you can get your money right. You can save for an emergency, and you can still have fun along the way, which is what my clients are. They have extra money so that they can do anything they want. I have some that go to a spa once a month and they have credit card debt. Like you have to have fun, but but at the same time, you can do more than one thing. So you can pay off credit card debt and also save for an emergency fund. Absolutely. What I believe you should do, depending on how much credit card debt you have and what strategy you want to use, I would start off with, honestly, tracking your expenses for an entire month. Because when you do that, and I just did a video on this, but when you do that, you can find extra cash that you didn't know you were overspending, where you can take it and you can throw it at your credit card debt or throw it at your emergency fund. So by looking at your expenses for an entire month, and let's say you realize that you go to a drive-through 3 times a week, cut back to like 1 time a week. That extra money that you just found, that can go towards your goal. Like looking at groceries, which you and I have so many videos on our channels about how to save money on groceries.
And we got one coming up on your channel.
I get to work with you.
Yippee! Woo!
Groceries is one of the best ways that you can save money and take that extra cash and again throw it at what you need. So once you do that and you have the extra cash, let's just say that you've come up with $250 that you can either put at your credit card debt or build an emergency fund. Depending on how many months of an emergency fund you need, are you renting or are you owning at your home, like we just discussed before, I would take it and split it and dedicate like maybe 2/3 of it to your credit card or half to your credit card debt and half to your emergency fund. That way you can conquer both goals at the same time.
Sounds good to me, Deb.
Yeah.
All right, so next, Serena was asking, should folks keep this kind of a similar question to before, but not 100%? Should folks keep their money in or out of the bank? Serena mentioned that her bank, which is actually a credit union, already has limited hours.
You know, when it comes to limited hours, I mean, I believe like just like with cell phones, and I know like some people might not agree with this on that I'm gonna say, but just like cell phones, like there's so many major companies that you can use, right? If you feel like you're being overcharged by one company, there's 5 companies around the corner that would do anything for your business. The banks should be the same way. If they're reducing their hours, it's probably because of staff shortages or they're overspending. And so it's time for you to consider whether or not you're going to stay at that credit union or whether or not you're going to go to another bank that has better hours that are more accommodating for you. But I do believe it's safe. It's safe to have money in the bank. There's FDIC insured for $250,000. Like it's safe to have money in the bank. Some branches, and I know there's one in particular here that's here in the United States. There's one kind of bank that unfortunately has gone from doing things for the consumer to now doing things for businesses instead, online especially, and because they see their bread and butter coming from businesses instead of from us working folks, they shorten their hours because hey, you know, you're gonna bank with us online more. Why am I gonna pay 5 tellers to sit here when I can pay 2 and close the doors early? So it's really a matter of, are you getting a good deal on that on your account? Are you getting like extra features on that account that you feel are saving you more than if you went to another branch? Like for here, TD Bank, like they're open late. They're open on the weekends. Like their hours are fantastic. Their drive-through, like I like their customer service because of that.
I've always been a fan of that for that reason.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Debbie. Now Bernie has a question. Bernie wants to know, what is the one change that will best give you the steps to becoming more money savvy? What can make a person more money savvy?
I light up at questions like this. It's so good.
I love these questions. Like, thanks, Bernie.
I talk to you for half an hour. Okay. Like, there are so many things that you could do to save money. It depends on how you're living. I said it before and I'll say it again. If you track your expenses for 1 month, just 1 month, you can see what habits you have that could be possibly sabotaging your finances. You can see exactly where your money's going. You can start by seeing where your money's going. You can see where you want it to go. Like if you see that you're overspending in one category, then that's the category you can save money. Like 1 month of expenses can show you so much. It can show you so much. And also another area that you can also try to save money if you have credit card debt is to try to see if you can stop using the credit card that has the highest interest. That alone, by stopping the usage of that card, because in New Jersey, it's 24% that they can charge you in interest. Could you imagine like spending $1,000 and getting 24% on that?
Oh my word.
It's crazy. And because of the benefits that people get from cards, like cash back, or like especially like the groceries, like that's a big one, like 3% back on groceries. Yeah, but if you're going further and further into debt for that 3% and you're overspending on your groceries, are you really saving anything? Like you're not. You're giving them 24% of your money. It's I can go on and on, but so those are the two things I would say is, one, track your expenses so you can see where you can cut back, and two, stop using the credit card that has the highest interest. Those alone or you can really see where you're going, and you can make changes. Small changes add up to such big results over time.
They really, really do. Debbie, before we go, I do have a question.
Yeah.
Do you have a preferred app that you could recommend for tracking people's, money? Is there an app that you use? Or
yes. There are apps out there. I don't know if it's gonna sound like old fashioned advice, but this is what I live on, honestly. You can automate it, and you can pay someone $10 a month, like an app $10 a month to automate your tracking. But why do that when you could do it for free? Like why? Do that?
Right.
Because when you automate things, you're not looking at it. And when you're not looking at it, you're not tracking it yourself. And then you don't know where your money's going. You've got a gadget doing it for you, and you're paying it $10 a month, which is $120 a year.
No.
I even free apps. There are a few out there. The one that I like the best is the EveryDollar app. And it's not because it's associated with Dave Ramsey at all. What I like about it is that it's so easy to use.
It's easy.
It's so easy to use. It takes 20 seconds. When I come out of CVS, for example, and I'm in the car, I just go to pharmacy and I put in, $30 that I spent on whatever I spent. I put it right in there, and it dates it for me. I just hit the plus sign and enter, and that's it. And
you're right.
Yeah, and at the end of the month, I log on to my computer and I can see everything I've spent for the month. And if you're budgeting with someone, like I budget with my husband, he has the app on his phone for free. I have it on mine, and it combines everything. So you actually don't have to sit down and have like a monthly budget meeting with your spouse or anyone you budget with. Everything is together in one spot. So it's so easy to use. I love that.
Although those monthly, when I was very married, I loved those monthly budget meetings, because that meant a really nice trip outside with a tall cup of expensive coffee, which was ridiculous. But it was fun.
I like it too. But when I work with couples, that's one of the biggest pet peeves, is that they don't have time to sit down and talk about money, especially if they have kids. Yeah. And so I tell them, I was like, that's what I love about this app. It's like, as long as both people are working together, it just unifies everything. And when you have a moment to sit down, it's all together in one thing. It's easy to use. Yeah.
So true. Well, Debbie, I don't know how to thank you for coming by and answering these questions. And thank you guys for your questions. Okay, Debbie, we have a couple of things you and I are going to talk about after the show. So stick around. Don't go away.
Yeah.
And I want to take a minute. We're going to play a little song on my outro, and then we'll give everybody a wave, and we'll be right back. Take care, everybody. Thank you so much, Debbie.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay. So long, everybody. Don't forget to head over to the How Debbie Saves channel. You have questions. She's a money coach. Check out the freebie, going to be included in the description box below. Have a good night, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.